I've made videos in the past about common reasons people fail to meet their goals. And with the New Year's approaching, a lot of people are going to be thinking about those New Year's resolutions coming up. A lot of people are going to have these big ideas of the types of goals that they want to achieve, but most people don't have a solid understanding of the tools that they need in order to achieve those goals. That, of course, is going to bring us to today's video. 5 tools that you need in order to achieve your goals. If you're new to the channel, welcome. My name is Tyler Warlow and I go by The Mengineer. I make videos on how to improve your life through your confidence, capabilities, and overall happiness. The next 5 talking points that I talk about are going to be things that you either need to have or do in order to achieve your goals next year. They're going to build upon one another and set you up for the greatest success. With that being said, let's jump into the video. The first tool that you're going to use is getting specific with your goal. A lot of people have a tendency to set these generalized goals, like I want to get more fit, I want to improve my finances, but it's a lot harder to work towards something when you don't have an actual endpoint. A common tool that a lot of people use to help them achieve this goal is SMART goals, and that's going to be a goal that is specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and timely. I won't dive into the specifics of that because I've made videos on that in the past, but the key here is that you really want to have a solid understanding of what your exact goal is. You want to have something that has an endpoint that you can easily track. This is because getting specific and measurable with your goal is going to help you to track your progress and see your movement towards that goal. A lot of people start to fail their goals because they don't really see their progress towards it because they have no real way of tracking or an endpoint in sight. So they keep working towards this just generalized goal like get more fit, and they don't track their progress. So even though they are getting more fit, they don't know what their end goal is, and so they haven't been seeing their progress towards it, and as a result, they drop the ball and they end up losing their fitness altogether. For example, let's take a look at these 2 goals. Take the goal of I just want to get more fit versus the goal of I want to be able to run a single mile without stopping. Obviously, the second goal is a lot more specific and it gives you something that you're able to work towards. There are specific training programs that you can do that can actually help you achieve that goal. So by getting more specific and granular with what you want to achieve, you're going to be able to better develop a plan. The next tool that you need to have in your tool belt is your why. What do I mean by this? You need to have a deeper why and reason behind the goal. Another mistake that a lot of people make is making way too many goals or goals that don't align with their personal values. So of course, why would you continue working on them? If you're trying to work on a million different things, you're not going to be able to prioritize any single one, so you're not going to be able to move forward. And then if you don't actually believe in the goal that you're going after, then of course you're not going to keep up with it and you're going to drop it at the first sign of difficulty. You need to have a deeper motivation and reason behind why you are pursuing the specific goal that you're pursuing. For example, I have a goal of financial independence, but the root reason behind that goal that I have is that I never want to tell my kids that I couldn't come to one of their events because I couldn't say no to work. I want to make sure that no matter what, we're going to be okay financially so that I can make those decisions for my family. And if my work happens to say something along the lines of like, hey, you do this or you're fired, then we're covered and I can be there for my family. My family is always going to be my number 1 priority, hence they are my reason why. So for you, you've got to determine what your why is. Do you want to have deeper connections with friends and family? Do you want to be able to travel the world so you can be a more cultured person and get to connect with different people? There are so many different reasons, and every person's why is unique. So just make sure that you truly believe in it and are passionate about it, because that's going to be what pushes you to keep pursuing the goal. Because there's going to be days that are hard and difficult and you're just not going to feel like working on it. But then you're going to remember your why, and that why is going to help motivate you to push through those difficult days. And speaking of difficult days, we're going to come to the third tool. And that, of course, is going to be consistency. A lot of people, myself included, start off on their goals super motivated and making a lot of progress in the very short amount of time. But as soon as they hit that first roadblock where they're having to go up against a wall and really push through it, that's kind of when they start to fall off. They don't start doing it every single day and they start losing progress. Really, it's more about being consistent than it is doing really hard work. It's the small actions that you do every single day that add up over time that are going to get you to those goals. For a lot of goals, you're not going to see immediate progress overnight. Going to the gym one time is not going to get you six-pack abs. Investing $500 isn't going to make you a millionaire tomorrow. It's about performing the small actions every single day, and they will compound on one another. One of my favorite examples of this is the story of three friends in The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy. In this book, he describes a story of three different friends. The first friend starts to make healthy changes in his life. He cuts out soda, pays attention to his calories, goes on a run almost every other day, and just generally tries to live a healthier lifestyle. The second friend continues what he's doing. He's just going to continue eating how he has in college and keep doing his thing. And the third friend, he's making enough money and he's feeling pretty comfortable, so he gets himself a nice big flat screen TV and he gets himself takeout every night so he can watch his favorite shows. The first couple days, weeks, and even months, there is no difference in the friends. They all look the same. They all look like the same happy young guys that graduated college together. But where you start seeing the changes is a couple years down the line. When they start getting into the 5 to 10 year range, you start to notice the weight differences between them. You notice that the friend who has been exercising and eating healthy has a lot more energy as compared to his two other friends, but it's still just a little bit of a difference. Now, where you really start to see the difference is 20 to 30 years down the line. All these guys have had families, but the guy who had exercise and healthy routines in his life managed to keep himself young and energetic and keep up with his family. As a result, he was able to do a bunch of things with them and maintain healthy relationships with his wife and kids, which resulted in a happy life. The guy in the middle who kind of kept just doing what he was doing, he's gained some weight here and there, and he's generally lived an okay life. He's had troubles and some ups and downs, but nothing that he couldn't really handle. But then you get to the third friend, the friend that decided to live in the way so that he felt best in the moment. And he is having a hard time. He's gained a lot of weight. He has not been able to maintain any healthy relationships because he hasn't worked on those relationships with those people. And as a result, he just complains and is a generally unhappy person. This story is detailed so much better in the book, The Compound Effect, so I highly recommend giving it a read if you're interested in that. But it shows how the little actions over time are what lead to the large achievement of those really large goals. So keep that in mind and make sure that you make consistency a part of your goal setting tool belt. The next thing you're going to need in your tool belt is a plan. Once you've gotten specific with your goals and you have a reason for why you want to do them, you need to develop some sort of roadmap towards that goal. Let's go back to our earlier example of just wanting to run a single mile. Most people don't have a lot of exercise experience, so if they just go out there and start running as hard as they can, they might injure themselves or demotivate themselves when they're not able to do as much as they would hope. That's why there are so many plans out there for helping people train from going from not running at all to running a single mile, and they have a lot of success. It's because this develops a plan for the individual that gives them little benchmarks along the way that help them to see their active progress. Imagine you're going on a backpacking trip. You wouldn't want to go out there without your map, because as soon as you go off trail is when you get lost and you won't be able to find your way back to camp. It's the same thing with a goal. You want to have some sort of map towards your goal. You might veer off a little bit, get a little bit lost, but as long as you have that plan, you can circle back to it and help direct yourself towards that end goal. Now keep in mind, plans can change. You want them to be somewhat flexible because life changes and you might change with it. So make sure that you have a plan, but be willing to be flexible with it. And finally, you're going to want to learn to enjoy the process. This is going to be something that helps you a lot with the consistency that we talked about earlier. As you start moving towards larger and more intimidating goals, there are just going to be days that are particularly difficult, and you're going to have a hard time motivating yourself or encouraging yourself to push through that wall. If you're focusing on the end result, then it's going to be hard for you to get yourself to push through that blockade, because you might feel like the end result is pretty far off. But if you learn to enjoy the process, you learn to have some enjoyment and get some sense of satisfaction from the work that you are doing. By being satisfied in the work that you're doing, it's going to encourage you to keep up that consistency, because you'll be proud even if you don't necessarily achieve the end goal that you wanted. For example, I made a commitment that I would post 1 video per week to YouTube. There's a lot of weeks where this is very difficult, where I've made a lot of plans with friends or to do other things that makes it pretty difficult for me to sit down and take the time to edit my videos. But I've learned to enjoy the process of editing and enjoy seeing the results of what I do with my work. And so it makes it a little easier to sit down and kind of get the work done, because it's something that I actually like seeing build and change as I make it. If I hadn't learned to enjoy the process of idea creation, editing, and thumbnail design, then I would have quit a long time ago. And on top of that, I love hearing from people that my video has helped them in some way. If I hadn't learned to enjoy those processes, then I definitely would have stopped a while ago, because it's definitely not easy to do every single week. But that's gonna bring us to the end of the video, y'all. Just to summarize real quick for you, the tools that you'll need to achieve your goals are going to be getting specific, having a why, building consistency, having a plan, and then learning to enjoy the process. These 5 things are gonna work together and create synergy to help you get to achieving your goals more often. I hope that you found the information in this video to be helpful or informative. If you did, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel to join me in this self-improvement journey. If you have any of your own thoughts, ideas, or opinions, please be sure to let me know with a comment down below. I like to read and respond to as many as I can. If you're interested in more videos where I talk about goal-related topics, be sure to check out this video right here, where I talk about why my goals have changed. If you're interested in some of my most recent stuff, be sure to check out this video right here. But until the next time, this is the Mengineer, signing off.